Green, green, green. Oh, but Koa holds it around the outside, and he gets a way better exit.
Pushing hard, already 3 wide into turn 1.
A little bit, and a group of Aston's just piling up on him, trying to hold everybody off. Push him wide a little bit. Oh, but you can't make it stick.
Boonstra is able to hold the inside.
Got a little overlap, but he can't do it.
Ooh, and he just caught it.
Mr. Sir and King are banging doors.
Oh, shoot. And we're off and away for SRA.
Hello and welcome, folks, to SRA Race 4 Season 6 here at Imola in the rain. We are just now getting going with the silver qualifying session here for all of those new to the league or new to watching us. And I saw that Chris Moses rated us with some friendly folks here tonight, so thank you. But we have 2 division splits within a division. So there is gold and silver, and the silver split is going out right now. But while these guys are getting their warm-up laps done, let's take a look at the overall standings for the season. Jess, if you want to bring that up.
Yes, sir. We got Madhouse Racing Beans division just taking off like a rocket ship, pulling away from P2. Best of the rest right now, Grid Thieves Motorsports, Papega Flash with James Riley and Felipe Vicini.
Those two have been on fire. Close. Those two have been on fire this season. They've just consistently been in the top 10s and really been putting down good races, so well-deserved. And Pillars Racing left Twix with Diego Fimbres Casas and Nick San. Those two are doing pretty good here as well. Let's look at the drivers, though. See who the top folks are. Ryan Yee with 281 points in the NSX, as with the aforementioned Madhouse Beans. In first place right now, a part of our SRA Aliens class, and it shows. He really does. You watch him, and you really feel bad about yourself the next day. Like, why can't I make car go around track? Okay, he just so smooth, buttery smooth, and races like crazy. I mean, at Brands Hatch, probably saw some of the most interesting racing I've seen in a very long time. Last race between Ryan Yee and Alvarado and Matt Lehman. That was a very fun fight to watch. So if you guys are interested in looking back on that stream, I would suggest that you go into the Twitch VOD section or to YouTube and watching that one back. Highly recommend it. Also, James Riley for Grid Thieves Papega Flash with 237 points, only 44 points behind Ryan Yee. He's doing very well. Nick Alvarado, 45 points behind Ryan Yee. And we heard him last race in the interview that he was gunning for Ryan Yee this season, so it'll be very interesting to see if he can make it there. Some other outliers I want to highlight before we switch off of this. Matt Lehman with 151 points, sitting in 9th right now. Diego Fimbres Casas with 199 points, sitting in 6th. Some other outliers I want to point out here. Travis Robinson in 32nd. With 57 points, Travis Nordstrom in 27th, and Brooker Quigg in 34th. All these are part of our SRA Alien class. So these are the folks that are going to be maybe sleepers and some people that we really want to watch out for. This SRA Alien class wasn't just created for no reason. These people have the best qualifying pace, race skills in the league, and some may argue in North America. So we are really going to be watching out for these folks tonight. And into our silver qualifying session. There's nothing left to shout out here. So far, Rania over our D2 to D1 transplant, has put down the fastest time thus far with a 1:49.8.
That is
And this-
damn fast.
Yeah, and he's 2/10 over Ivan McCrow, who I'm viewing in the picture-in-picture right now. And we know he's a very fast driver, so hopefully these guys are going to catch up to him here.
Something important that we have yet to mention on stream for this week is that the admin team made some final adjustments to Season 6 rosters.
Boy, did they.
They did, and we have moved a handful of drivers from gold split to silver split, and vice versa. So you're going to see some new drivers in each split. I know that chat was begging to have Koodromo go from silver to gold, so you're going to see that happen today. He's always been fighting up with the gold driver, so it was a easy decision. But other drivers will have the same treatment across every division in SRA. So if there's a driver that you're looking for not qualifying right now, that may be because they're in a different split now.
Yeah, thank you so much for promoting me to gold. I know everybody was asking for it. The whole D3 championships were totally thrown off because I was somewhere around P14 in the standings total, and I think P6 or so in division. And obviously that's just too much. They couldn't be let to stand, and y'all were totally right and valid and true for putting me up in gold. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just we can't let your head get too inflated with the clout, okay, of getting those silver points. So we gotta make sure that your ego stays in check so that you stick around a little bit longer and get humbled by the gold standard.
I was thinking that it was getting too easy, and you know what? It was right. It's proven by the system. It's impartial, right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what makes me an even happier admin than just being upset with me is the fact that we have a wet session right now.
Oh, look, don't speak too soon. There's still the race session. Who knows what's going to happen? I know in our practice race last night, we had a wet qualifying straight into a bone dry, sun out, like crispy dry day. So that was interesting and a bit of a mess, to say the least. People were a little all over the place with their tire pressures and setup and whatnot. So lessons learned. Hopefully those folks that participated in that practice race came in here with all of the different scenarios set up for their car already and are going to be pouncing on whatever the weather might throw at them.
If you have been a fan of Sim Racing Alliance for long enough, you know that it is an absolute meme at this point that our scheduled wet races throughout the season have the tendency to be a little bit drier than expected. So just ACC weather mechanics working their magic. We always manage to find the 2% of the statistics, which just, again, we could take the weather program to Vegas and win a lot of money, is all I'm going to say. But I can tell you, and Paulie kind of hinted at it a little bit, I wake up in a cold sweat at night, dreading the fact that it's a dry session on a wet race night. So I'm hoping that the Italian racing legends bless us with some rain tonight. I'm sure Dehi is at home right now doing his patented rain dance.
Jam is inside out, throw an ice cube in the toilet. Or is that the snow dance? I don't know. But
I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds like you're summoning a demon of some sort. But we won't go into the details. Put your Ouija boards away, chat. Okay.
Well, speaking of demons, a demon on the track here is Ronnie Over, who has a 1:49.23. Still up in the top, has improved quite a bit over the race session or the qualifying session here. Smith has right behind him with a 1:49.2. I'm switching over to him.
He's not far behind. We were just watching his last lap. He was up 3/10 on that lap, and he started to lose it at the end of sector 2. He could have had a commanding provisional P1. He might still have it in him.
Yeah, he's up a 10th and a half here. We'll see if he can hold it throughout the lap. Dan Cran, who has been someone that has came into D1 Silver Division and has really been putting on a show for us. He's sitting in third right now. Has an invalid lap under him, but he won't be able to coast around for another one. Maybe
He is
not.
absolutely chucking that NSX around the track. You can see it sliding around some of the corners as he just throws the body weight of the car into the apex. So, a lot of these cars are going to be finding pace the more skittish you drive it. So we'll see if some of our drivers here in Division 1 want to take that risk versus reward equation to mind and run a setup that's really fast but really sketchy, or if they want to drive a more planted setup. Maybe it's my lack of skill talking, but I prefer stability while driving in a 60-minute race. Some drivers just can tame these cars much better than I can.
Speaking of stability and sketchy, Smith puts it in P1, but he had a lot more time under him. He was up 4/10 before he just touched a curb on the exit of the last corner and lost 3/10 of it. Still a good lead over Rania over in P2 by a little over a tenth, or actually not quite, about half a tenth. But still.
No, that's tough because although you're leading the silver split, the gold driver is going to come out and they're going to push you down the pecking order. And 10th mean a lot in Division 1. Frankly, they mean a lot across the divisions in SRA because the racing grids are so tightly packed. But I want to make mention that Bailey Kish in the chat hitting us with another subscription from Prime.
Thanks,
and
Bailey.
claiming that SRA is the best sim racing out there. So love you, brother. Thank you for the support. And also Colin Shea giving a shout out to one of our affiliate sponsors, Go Setups, saying that they have a great selection of setups for the rain and they feel awesome. So if you are looking for something like that, use our affiliate link with Go Setups. Pick yourself up some really great wet weather setups.
I bought the Porsche bundle just the other day, like 2 days ago. I knocked off like 4 seconds off my time.
4 seconds is nuts.
I think there was something else going on there, buddy.
The Coach Dave Academy 2 wet setup, which I don't think is valid anymore.
No, that's actually really funny. That's really funny. And Bailey Kish is asking for something. I'm going to give it to him. He asked for a Hoya, and I'm going to give him a Hoya.
Hoya.
Oh, my goodness. Gosh. Well, Sykes in the 496 Aston moves up 10 spots into P5 with a 149.4 shown on the picture-in-picture there. But now the qualifying is over for the silver split drivers and the golds are out. So we're going to see where these silver drivers stack up in comparison to the gold drivers, and hopefully these gold drivers stay true to their name and can really put down some good laps. Definitely a lot of pressure in the wet though.
Out leading the charge is TSC Wolves, Peter Bryan and Jeremy Mercer. Right on the heels of Felipe. Who do y'all think is going to put out the faster times?
Porsche around Imola is looking pretty strong, but the NSX in the wet is definitely very strong. So
the NSX is the only car they can compete.
That's honestly what I think is what it's going to boil down to. I think that your D1 staples, the Yee, Spangler, Madhouse, NSX, the group are going to be very quick in these wet conditions. Honestly, the wet weather just takes all the different mechanics of what makes a good sim racing driver and just elevates it that much further. So it's going to grow that disparity between the great drivers and the good drivers, and you're going to see that in today's qualifying session from the lap times depicted.
Yeah.
But Dom Duran in chat saying that we're sleeping on the Astons. The Aston Martin is really great in the wet weather. He's not lying. It feels really planted.
Not that great.
It's not bad, and it eats curves, which Imola has a lot of really sketchy curves. But honestly, Matt Lehman is basically he's going to be able to tame that Aston much better than most. I don't really see anyone else. Like Nate Specht is in 12th right now in an Aston. I don't see anyone else really
yeah, you are right. I
up
was
there.
hating a little bit. The Aston is very good in the wet. But I mean, the Porsche's still faster. The Aston's easy in the wet. That's the thing. It's easy in the wet.
Yeah.
We're really going to see that disparity once the race starts, and you know, it's an hour-long stint here. There's mistakes and little slides and twitchiness that you can get with some of these mid-engine cars is going to hurt them, and you know, the Aston
Jeff
and the
Spangler's seeing that
BMW
right
are
now.
really gonna excel.
Yeah, that's tough. New chat for the first time from Ritwit. Let's go Madhouse. Yes, sir. So some love for Madhouse Racing already in the chat. They're always a fan favorite because they're always just super quick on track. But I want to bring attention to Ronya Over. Still holds the top spot. Maybe the track was not as wet at the beginning of qualifying. And they were able to put in a fastest lap as their final quick one before the Silver Split had to call it quits. So
It certainly doesn't look like it's getting drier. Look at the trails.
yeah, it's looking like it's getting worse. So what this is going to do is this is going to make the grid all sorts of mixed up because the gold drivers can tame the rain better, I mean, just statistically, than the silver drivers. But they're having worse qualifying conditions. So you're going to have silver and gold all mixed up, and that's going to cause a series of difficulties while racing. So I'm excited to see that.
Well, finally here to dethrone Ronya Over is Ryan Yee in the #1 Honda here. Sets a 149.03, so nearly a tenth over Ronya Over. And he's doing it right behind another driver, too, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, he doesn't
You're
have
saying
a lot of buffer in front of him.
Correct. Is that Alvarado in front?
Yes, it is.
Oof.
Yeah, those
Little
two are
rivalry going
practically
on.
inseparable, yeah. But what I can tell you is that Paulie was hinting that it's Ryan Yee's just a tenth, like not even a tenth over Ronya Over. That is nothing. Yeah, the fact that Ryan Yee, arguably the best driver in SRA, only eked out 78,000 over P2 just shows you how much pace disparity that this track is offering right now. So it's definitely going to be the great equalizer, as someone already mentioned in chat. So
Diego's on fly. I've got to cut you off. I'm sorry. Diego's going into Sector 3 on a flyer right now. He was 4 tenths up, and he's just lost a bit of it on the exit of that chicane. Now he's down to 1.5 tenths up. That's still enough to put him on the podium, though, or the top 3. He's rapidly approaching slower drivers, so he's running out of time to make that time.
In your excitement, Jess, your microphone keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's
I'm cutting out?
just a little bit.
Okay, then I'll
just a little
turn
bit.
The noise thing
Might only be on Discord.
Maybe.
Regardless, we want to hear your sultry voice permanently. So.
Definitely. Chatters, let me know if there's any problem with the audio on your end.
Well, speaking of problems, Alvarado has proven to be a problem for Yee as he puts it a tenth over for P1. So Yee, following right behind Alvarado, has proven to basically maybe hinder his lap times a little bit, but Alvarado puts it on pole for the time being. And Fimbris Casas, like Jess was hinting at, puts it P3. But drivers are running out of time to set better laps, as Lehman, speaking of better laps, puts it at P2. But again,
Diego wasn't
he
long
won
for P3, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Just right off the podium spots there for the get-go. But from P1 to P5 is all under 2 tenths separating the 5 drivers. That is insane.
I was watching Lehman's lap there.
Look at the representation of silvers in the top 15 or so. It's almost like you take off the top 3 to an even spread. Rain is the great equalizer.
I was watching Matt Lehman's lap there, and it looked like he had at least 2 more tenths in his time, but he caught some bad curb over that chicane and lost some of it. So Lehman is fast here tonight, so I know we're going to see a lot more of him this race.
Peter O'Brien up on a valid lap, trying to find more, and he's found the back of his teammate. Maybe he'll get the toe on his last go. They got to pick something because one of them is going to be in the other's way. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, the concern though is that there aren't Porsches in the top 5. Obviously 2 right outside the top 5, but I'm surprised to not see more. Maybe their setups are proving to be a little bit more fickle than they bargained for. As we see him jump, Peter O'Brien jump the curb and immediately have
When
an
he
unsettled
slides,
car.
you
And
see that?
yeah, another slide through that apex. So again, this Porsche seems unruly.
Yeah, and his
Oh, speaking of which,
he
I think that was
already half a second
purposeful.
down. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
cranked it.
Yeah, he absolutely sent that into a purposeful spin, but for the style points. But yeah, that Porsche looks unruly at best. But that is qualifying over, so all the drivers on their valid laps right now have a chance to set another one. I'm looking for drivers like that are requested, like Koadromo. Where is it? P18. I don't know if Koadromo is still on another lap or not.
Yes, he is.
Did he make it across the line to start another one?
I believe so.
Yeah, 40 seconds
Okay.
ago.
He is
Okay,
2 tenths
good.
down right now, so it's not looking too hard for him.
Dropping.
But yeah, Travis Robinson is on a lap, and he seems to be going up, going down. He may be able to squeeze something out. Also, people still on a lap that are improving. Evan Kim coming into the final or midsection of the track here, a 10th up.
Love to see that.
Oh, oops.
Jess is so eager to look at those NSXs, let me tell you.
No, stop it. I'm not.
Guilty!
Looks like Trav crosses the line without improving. But Evan Kim, he's finding time rapidly. He's got 3/10 now, maybe 4? Maybe? No, not quite a good enough exit.
He still has a couple corners to really send it, so we'll see. You can make up a lot of time in this last corner section here because you can build a lot of momentum for the straight. You can make up a lot of time if you get a good exit, which it looks like he doesn't get one. Yeah, a little bit too eager on the gas there.
It's all gone, all of it.
Yeah, a little too eager on the power, and that power slide takes him right out of improvement contention. So that is your qualifying. And like chat is hinting at, we are excited to see our resident aliens make another great performance as Alvarado, Lehman, and Yee take the first 3 spots on the grid.
And first-time chatter, C. Brown Races. What does the vertical bar to the right of the driver name, left of the car logo represent? I believe that is the pro versus silver split.
Nah, he's talking about just the little bar to the left of the car manufacturer. That's just ping.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's just ping. But now we can talk about a different bar in the scoreboard HUD, the orange box with the little white 1 in it, and that indicates that these drivers need to serve a mandatory pit stop. And all pit stops at SRA for these GT3 main series races require at least 1 liter of fuel. Tire changes are optional. It is not a viable strategy in a wet race, which I love to see. There is rain on the track, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
So we love to see that. It is not a viable strat to take a second helping of wet tire. Keeping 1 for the entire race is the correct strategy. So a full fuel load, the same tires throughout, splash and dash 1 liter during the pit stop. And that being said, the pit window is a full 55 minutes long for the rest of the season. So our drivers will have the opportunity. Yeah, we've had a lot of people request that. So our drivers will have the opportunity to do undercuts and overcuts aplenty like we saw last week at Brands Hatch. So that should be exciting. But important to note is Ronya Over, a silver split driver, finds himself in P5, an incredible place. And then Q Smith, previously hinted at, I said that they were going to lose quite a few positions for qualifying and missing those 3/10, but it obviously didn't really affect them too much. Find themselves in P8.
Pretty impressive. And this is after the rebalancing.
Yeah, not too shabby. I think the difference in, man, we're bouncing. Whoever's car you're on
Stop
right now is
spamming the
changing their
setup.
setup.
Alvarado, Jesus, what are you doing?
Note to self:
Make
never
up
ride
your
along with
lines.
Alvarado.
Why, he's just he can't be making any positive changes. He's just spamming the button. Very rude.
Probably just to get the freshest tires possible. That wouldn't surprise me. But D Trickle in chat saying that we have a wonderful presentation. I love to hear that. Please
Thank you.
continue to give us some feedback. Jess Osborne is in charge of all of our awesome broadcasting content. We live stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. So as we are talking, we are streaming Division 4 on YouTube, the Sim Racing Alliance channel. So check that out. And check out our YouTube channel for all post races, all previous races, I should say, because we post them all there. And you can see all the great racing that we've had over the past 6 seasons.
Well, most of it.
Most of it. We were very blessed to have 6 full grids this season.
It's crazy.
And it's looking like we're going to have even more next season.
Where are we going to find all the staff?
Through plenty of very humble and eager volunteers.
True.
We've been very blessed to have a lot of help here too. So big shout out to all of our fans and all of our beloved staff that have made this league a really, really great place to be a part of. So thank you for that. But before we get tired tooting our own horns, let's get back to the outlap here and describe what I see as something tragic. Driver 94 was on the grid, what looked to be AFK, and then teleported back to the pit.
That wasn't because of a penalty or anything, was it? We haven't gone over that yet, have we?
D1 has 0 penalties to serve this week,
good
and
boys.
I see 2 drivers. Yes, good boys and girls. And what I am concerned to see is that 2 drivers have inflicted their own self-penalty by starting in the pit lane, and one of which just left. So maybe connection issues? Yeah, that's what it seems like. They keep rejoining. So we'll have to see how that turns out for them. Anyone starting in the pit lane,
you don't deserve hardware issues.
No, that is
it's always the absolute worst. Connection issues and hardware issues. When it's something that isn't your fault, it's gutting. Especially at the beginning of a race like this, it's like not even any opportunity to make a mistake. You're just done. But I'd like to take this opportunity while we're still on outlap here to take a quick shout out to all the people who sponsor us through Patreon, Discord, and otherwise, to our SRA and title sponsors. Thank you so much, guys.
Put on screen, Jess.
And a shout out to Retro Saga. They are a North American retro gaming storefront, and they have all sorts of cool stuff, games, controllers, systems, etc. Go check them out if you're interested. And thank you to Go Setups for being the official setups of SRA. Track Racer for having the official sim rigs of SRA. And thank you so much, guys. And Armamentario for making some awesome HUD stuff for ACC.
Gotta love it. Ole, we are almost underway. The grid is 2x2, and they are funneling up the main straight to cross the line. Take it away.
Any second now.
Green light.
And we are off and away for SRA Race 4 Season 6. And it's already quite feisty here. Drivers moving inside, outside, going into this really fast braking zone here. Hopefully there's no pileups that ensue.
And Lehman goes off and just drives through the second corner.
Man,
we're having a lot
dropping
of
down.
Yeah, the drivers are having a hard time. You can see on track right now, the spray is unreal. Jess, if you can go to a driver's POV just to see what they're experiencing right now. This is brutal. And what you can see is it is wet right now.
You cannot see a thing.
It is unreal. And as you see Nate Speck falling back in the pecking order there on your left, backing back out, we can see that no one's really taken too much damage. We have a handful of drivers experiencing some tough times, but for the most part, the entire grid is doing quite well given these tough conditions. But yeah, this is going to be a brutal race for these drivers, a true test of drivers' skill and their finesse and their nerves too. These cars look very skittish.
Well, Ryan Yee has taken this opportunity with Lehman having some tough times on the first corner by drawing a 1 second gap over Diego in P2. So while Diego and Lehman scrap over this position, Ryan Yee is just pulling away. As Ryan Yee doing Ryan Yee activities, as Jay Nixon loses a position to Chris Defiak.
And now he's under contention. It looks like...
Man, we have a little bit of a pileup in the back here. There's Victor Diaz, McCroat, Santana, Stallworth. It looks like Santana and Stallworth are the two most affected here.
And their
both
teammates.
Grid Thieves members. Big ouch. They were stopped in the middle of the track there. And they're getting back on track. Man,
his
that's
teammate
tough.
looked like to be the main blocker, and then he couldn't get around. He was the main victim of the fallout. That sucks.
Wouldn't want to be in that Discord call.
No, sir.
No, teammate on teammate damage is very, very bad. Very, very bad. That's a proper clown makeup Ferrari strategy right there. And again, another car around and more cars skipping the entire first corner sequence here. Kelvin Lau having a struggle and then proceeds to bump the wall for added measure. These drivers have to really attest to the difficult conditions.
It looks like he just spun by himself, and yep, and he's going to fall back to 33rd, even after such a great qualifying run there. Unfortunate. Alvarado, not where he wants to be, in 34th right now, but he's working himself up through the grid. Travis Robinson catching a yellow flag, a lot of damage on the side and the back of his car. I'm going to catch that replay here in the picture-in-picture. Looks like he might have just slid off by himself, though.
While you're looking at that,
and Diego have been side by side for 3 corners straight, trading places. The whole time they've got 4 cars behind them.
And you can see both drivers struggling for traction, and right there with them is Ronya Over, previously a D2 driver, making their presence known in D1 in the wet conditions. But these drivers are making it an absolute spectacle of what is very tough driving. You're going to find that as you see another Porsche go deep there, the racing is only going to get more difficult as people are getting a little bit more confident. You get more heat in the tires. People are going to start pushing each other that much harder.
Nick Sand having a little awkward moment, catching some sand there on the straightaway, or just before the straightaway, and letting Michael Menning by. Evan Kim and Chris Brown trading positions as people are already funneling into the pits.
Pit lane is open as per the entire league's request, and that gives the opportunity for a lot of these drivers that struggled in the opening sequence of this race to go get some much needed repairs done. Which is a huge
Kelvin Lau also drawing another yellow flag here, maybe his number.
666.
That might give him some bad luck there. I would recommend changing that one. But we have McCroat, Marlowe, Brown, Diaz, Specht, Santana, Alvarado, and Spangler all in the pits right now.
Alvarado is an important one to note.
Alvarado was really back in the pecking order. He may have been that driver that was experiencing some of those connection issues and joined late in. I'm not quite sure, but...
is Alvarado driver 94?
Is 247.
Okay, never mind that. So 94 was the one experiencing the connection issues. So, but maybe Alvarado just got caught out on lap 1. Maybe an incident, an off, what have you. We missed it, admittedly. Someone in chat is probably watching Alvarado's stream. Give us the details of what happened to our man. Also in chat, who you like to win this race right now? I mean, he's got the wherewithal, the 4-second gap, but the rest of the grid is a complete toss-up.
We're getting some inside info. Alvarado DC'd on formation line.
Yikes.
The worst.
Yikes, and that's going to be really tough because his championship rival is in first place. So that's going to add some extra discomfort to his championship standings. But again, it's a long race, and Alvarado has proven time and time again that he is a top-tier driver. So we'll see what he can amount to. People are saying Ronya over is the one to win today. Oh, we see some aggressive driving here from a couple different drivers.
Jeffrey
Hard
Bray
in the
getting around
braking
Travis
zone.
Robinson.
Yeah, that's got to be brave on the brakes. But again, if you just happen to catch some extra water and you hydroplane, your race is going to be over swiftly. Already some blue flags coming out, so that's going to be an indicator that some of these drivers are in a bad spot, or they just pitted super early.
Yeah.
So not too bad. But
another
yeah,
group of drivers going into the pits. Riley, Sparks, Vicini, and Stallworth, looks like.
The strat for me, in my experience during rain races, is to pit as late as possible to keep heat in the tires. I'm curious to see these pit stops so early, but maybe they made some PSI miscalculations and need to make some changes to tires or something. Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
We got some dueling Mercedes here right now.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. And then when you get a chance, Calvi Coughs has requested with their channel points to see Ryan Yee.
To see who?
Ryan Yee.
This Ryan
It's a
Yee,
lonely road up top.
Champion Ryan Yee, leader of Division 1 Ryan Yee. That Ryan Yee.
He's drawn a 3.3 second gap over Matt Lehman in P2, so very healthy, especially this early in the race. Only not even 8 minutes in, and he's already drawn that. So
take note, if you look at the track map, not to interrupt, but he's already coming up on some backmarker traffic. That's going to hinder his progress significantly.
And Nick Sand into the pits. Also to take note of, Matt Lehman has the fastest lap of the race so far.
That's worth a championship point, Paulie.
Oh, hey, there you go. Champion Motorsports racking up those championship points. You know how it is.
Gross. Can't believe you just said that.
Oh, we got.
Oh, Jeffrey Bray almost gets absolutely plowed by that yellow Lambo after having a moment. Let's see what happens. A big spin and collects the wall. That is tough.
Oh, and he had to sit still for a while. Oh, not too bad.
Almost a dangerous rejoin. Oh, I gave some extra tips when rejoining in the wet during the driver's briefing, saying that second gear might be your best friend, and that looked like the culprit of first gear over torquing it. Yeah, that Sir Owns a Lot saying Code Brown. That was almost a Code Brown with a yellow car, so that would have been double trouble. But look at these Porsches, just in a little train, doing their thing.
Yeah, I was just about to highlight, great little train developing here. 4 drivers. There's Nordstrom, O'Brien, Mercer, Smith, and yeah, they're not too far apart from each other. And yeah, first little train developing here after the initial scramble.
Something to consider is the teamwork element of the 2 blue Porsches in the middle, and they need to keep it out of the back of each other, 1, and 2. Maybe some team orders actions at play, but right now everything's looking peachy keen.
But when I'm behind my teammate, it's don't crash into them, don't crash into them, don't crash into them.
Scary thoughts indeed. As we see a move look like Jeremy Mercer is going to be able to hold off the BMW of Quinn Smith for the time being, but Quinn is definitely in the mix, taking those curves much more aggressively than the Porsche is able to, and gaining some momentum by doing so.
Mercer's defending on the inside. A little bump here, and Smith is going to have to take the sand, and he's going to lose a couple positions for it. Actually, maybe not. Maybe not.
The battle
still right back where they started.
Yeah, right where he was. But that is going to separate that little train that was developing there, and is going to allow Dan Cran and the 819 NSX to catch up to them. Now only 0.8 off.
Sir Owns a Lot in chat saying that the gap between Lehman and Yee is decreasing, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yes, and Lehman is continuing to knock down that time, and now with a 52.097. Yee with a 52.497. So 4/10 exactly between the two.
Yeah, that 4/10 over the course of the next 50 minutes is going to be a staggering difference in pace. So we'll see if Lehman can continue to hone in that time and it basically take some race pace away from Ryan Yee. I'm impressed to see that all these drivers that have subsequently pitted, no one has collected a pit stop oriented penalty for speeding, what have you. I know that's very easy to lock up your brakes on the entry into the pits in the wet. But speaking of locking up and having a mistake, Kelvin Lau, absolutely stunning lack of braking there, and he just plows the wall, which just basically totals his car.
That's not great for old Kevin Lau, and I think that was the end of old Kevin Lau, and has dropped out of the race.
That's tough.
Yep.
Needless to say, Kelvin had a great hot lap pace around qualifying, but come race trim, his car looked uncomfortable to drive.
So someone that is coming into the actually exiting the pits, that is interesting, Diego Fembres Casas was previously in third place, now dropping down the order coming out of the pit lane here, so we're going to see how his strategy winds up. And Pillars Racing teammate here in the NSX, Jay Bray, in the Silver Division, 963, also coming out of the pits as well.
Get some love for Koodromo in the chat, which is pretty cool. And then I wanted to make a note about Diego's pitting. He was under a lot of pressure from Ronya over, so my guess is that Diego probably just felt like it was easier just to get out from under that pressure and decrease the race risk of getting either punted by accident or just losing a position in time by battling. So I think the pit stop to basically get away from that battle is the strategic one, and we'll see if it pays off. Paulie, can you mention who at this point are the big winners? Big losers is kind of rough because they pitted, so they lose a lot of positions. So who are the big winners at the moment?
So Ryan Yee, our race leader at the moment, is up 2 positions from his starting point. Travis Nordstrom is up 5 positions.
Nice.
Dan Cran is also up 5 positions. Michael Menning up 7 positions. Koodromo up 6 positions, and he's laying on the pressure as we speak in picture-in-picture on Jay Nixon. Grant Cleansing, I was about to highlight, catching 16 positions, but now catching a yellow flag and diving straight into the pits. Maybe even a bit of a speeding into pits.
That looked a little bit uncomfortable under braking there. I may have spoken too soon and did the old commentator's curse, but look at this pack of cars that Jess is focusing on, and they come together. Quinn Smith getting a little bit too greedy in the braking zone and comes together with one of the blue Porsches there and loses out quite a bit. Quinn looks to get a little bit too greedy on the brakes. Plows through, actually, both drivers just managing to come together. Can't really comment about the responsibility of either because it looked like a pretty solid racing incident there. Both drivers not wanting to concede any space. So tough one there. Jeremy Mercer gets away clean. Quinn Smith loses out significantly.
It was so good for so long, but it had to come to an end, I guess.
Yes. And speaking of coming to an end, the cleanliness of the pit stop has ended. Paulie did catch it. Cleansing catches a stop-go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. A huge mental mistake after having what was probably a on-track moment and electing to dive into the pits, not having sufficient time to slow down. So that is going to be an immense detriment to his ability to perform here tonight.
And speaking of that teammate battle that was going on earlier, that the blue Porsche battle of O'Brien and Mercer, they were just a second ago a 10th between themselves. So very close and very risky here in the rain.
They just inverted because of that incident last lap. And before, O'Brien was leading Mercer, and Mercer was actually falling behind by a bit. So I think we're going to see some conflict again. I think Peter's going to have some issues getting around Mercer unless they're talking to each other.
And Hugh Smith, who we just saw in that accident earlier, has elected to go into the pits while he was off pace there. So maybe fixing some damage. Not sure.
Oh,
No,
and
nice quick pit
Bert,
stop for him.
The team orders came through, and Peter O'Brien is back through.
They got to be chatting together, and if I were them, I would pit. You know, they are so similar in pace. Just separate yourselves and give yourself some more real estate to work in the race. But yeah, sorry to hear Quinn Smith having to pit after that misfortunate loss on that battle there. But having an opportunity for the tires to cool down in the pit after spinning and having that off-track moment is probably for the best.
Quinn Smith,
And another
leaving the pits, I think. Yeah.
And immediately into a battle. Is that Evan Kim?
Yes,
that is.
Yeah, that's Evan is no slouch and is a fantastic defensive driver. Missing his teammate Tyler James tonight, so he is solo out there fending for his life. Quinn has come across one of the best defensive drivers in SRA, so that is in a tough spot to be in. But Quinn has shown that he's got the pace, so we'll see what he can muster out of old Evan Kim. Jason Allen in chat saying gold driver Evan Kim, so I guess he's touting that recent promotion.
Hell yeah, flexing.
Caught something here. Codromo is still laying the pressure onto Nixon. I saw them get squirrely there for a second.
This is more than pressure. They're basically right alongside each other. Codromo is racing with so little space, it makes me uncomfortable just watching it, let alone being in the car, seeing the spray.
Yeah,
Got to
this
be
track
super brave.
is pretty wet. I don't think it's as wet as it could be, but it's pretty darn wet.
Yeah, it's like 80%
not,
there. It's pretty damn wet.
Not easy to follow in these conditions at all.
No. Luckily, when we do actually afford a rain race, ACC allows us to turn off the flooded elements of rain racing. So this is probably as close to flooded as you're going to get without compromising race conditions. So this is about as tough as it gets.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to turn back on flooded. Okay.
You need your binky there, Jeff?
No, do you? I say send it. Take off the training wheels.
Look, okay.
Training wheels. You see these racing conditions? These are tough. As we have side by side for Spangler.
Oh, and Fazli Majid is throwing a yellow flag, doing a nice little pirouette off the track here, and backwards.
I'll catch the
Not
replay.
A great spot.
No.
And another 360, 180. This is racing, not gymnastics. Losing 2 positions over it to Jeffries and Rust.
All you these drivers need to pay attention to the briefing. Second gear will solve your problems. Purple Cobra in chat, give flooded Suzuka maximum gas. That's going to be a not just a no, a hell no from me. But we did do a wet Suzuka. Was that last season, guys?
I believe that was last season.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, early last season, like race 1 or 2 or something like that. But Codromo doing a nice, perfect entry into the pits and taking his pit stop now and getting out of the heat with his battle with Nixon. Definitely a smart thing to do. But I remember, Doug, I brought this up before and I'll bring it up again. The sponsors were told that we could pick one track and everyone voted for a flooded Oulton Park. In fact, people were picketing, rioting, begging for a flooded Oulton Park, and it never happened. So next season,
sorry to disappoint. We have Christopher for a first-time chat asking for a Suzuka Typhoon. Y'all are just a bunch of masochists. I can't do it. But off of the inclement weather chat, we have Sir Owns a Lot saying Ronya over with the fastest lap. Is that still the case?
Yes, it is.
That is
a 151.472.
That is by 300ths.
Yep. Just barely faster than Matt Lehman, and Matt has a 10th on this best lap over Ryan Yee. But that gap that we were seeing get brought down has stopped getting brought down quite as much here. 3-second gap between Yee and Lehman, and it's been maintaining for the last couple laps here.
Solid work here.
Spangler finally getting around Sparks just in time for run you over to lap both of them. Blue flag out.
That's the meme where you are fighting the third place trophy, spraying champagne all over yourself. You get an overtake done, but you simultaneously get blue flagged and overtaken for an entire lapped position. Big yikes.
Oh, Ivan McCroat to the wall. What happened here?
I'm going to assume a snap and then a big old plow into the wall.
Ooh, too much gas too soon.
Yeah, boom. The old hip check. And then proceeds to take out the 100-meter board. Scary business there.
It does look like he can still drive in a straight line, though.
What's rough for McCroat is that he is already pit.
Oof.
So that damage is now either going to be a permanent situation or he needs to take a second pit stop to repair that bad boy. And,
and behind him we get another mid-engine snap.
Spangler having a tough time taming that NSX, and again, I think that this goes back to previous conversations we all had where Spangler is a very quick driver, but I think the how difficult the NSX is to drive with finesse is proving to be a tall task tonight. And Alvarado pushing through the field despite a rough start at the beginning, finds himself in P26. We'll have to keep checking in on that, but
yeah, I'm checking on this this battle here. Riley, Bray, and Alvarado here, only a couple tenths off of each other in a nice little 3-car train. And
Alvarado goes into the wall.
Alvarado into the wall. Wow.
These NSXs are proving to be too much for race conditions. Oh, you need the second gear, buddy. Second gear, listen to me.
Oh, straight to pits. He's done.
That's rough.
Alvarado has retired. Put an F in the chat if you were here for Alvarado and sad to see him go. Yes, Spinala, says Christopher. That was tough to watch. Yeah, tough to watch. Kelvin Lau is in chat now. Obviously not racing anymore because of his misfortunes. As we see is that Bosley again off track? Or no, that's Michael Menning.
Yeah.
Michael Menning off track doing some lawn care there. But yeah, Kelvin Lau in chat saying that more comments about how poor race he had a couple of disconnects. So sorry to hear that, buddy. Hopefully you have a better result next week.
Wait a minute. That was Bosley, yeah.
That was Fosley.
It was Fosley.
Yeah, I think there's blue flagging or something. So took a little.
Took a detour.
Yeah, it's Menning.
Took a detour.
Who split the portions. Oh, and we got yellow. Oh, we got a pile up. Stalwart.
I don't want to hear that.
Wait, again? What happened here?
Please tell me that these Ferrari clown makeup is not going to happen twice in the same race.
It is!
Oh!
It is!
The same corner!
Oh, no.
In the same corner.
Oh,
God, take out your wigs and your red clown noses and permanently affix them, red Ferrari grid thieves. This is rough to watch.
This is the last thing anybody wanted to see.
And speaking of Harry here, we have quite the battle just very quickly developed. We have Smith, Kim, San, and Specht all right alongside each other. This is definitely getting hairy right here. This battling has allowed Chris Brown to get ahead of Smith. This BMW of Nick Sand interjected in their battle and just kind of bullied his way through after a yellow flag. And now he's found himself in a 4-car train.
We have Chris Moses in chat giving us some much needed insight, saying that the Mercedes is bad in the wet. So that might be, as we see Nick Sand taking a detour over the apex of the track there. No harm, no foul. But that might be why we're seeing some Fosley having trouble earlier.
It's just too big and fat. Oh, and we get ascended by the BMW.
Yeah, and Evan with the switchback, he's going to get it back. Clean move, side by side. Oh, Smith
and he gets the better exit because the BMW has ascended on the curb.
Yeah,
way
that
better
was tough.
allowance for Evan.
Yeah, Quinn left very little real estate for Evan to work with, but with the angle of entry, proceeds to get off and then lose traction in that gravel. So Evan is able to keep the position. But Quinn is applying a great deal of pressure. But like I said earlier, Evan is a stellar defensive driver as he has an off. And Quinn has some crazy momentum.
Oh my gosh, that was so close.
Yeah, these guys are
Quinn
pushing.
really, he had the plan, he had the line. He just needed slightly more exit speed. Oh, and he's got
and
it.
it does
2
go
corners
off.
later. Same plan, it executes this time though.
Evan's not going to go away though. He's going to be right there. He's not going to be nearly as aggressive as Quinn has been, but honestly, Quinn does have more pace, so that's where the extra pressure came from. But Evan's going to be loitering there for quite some time. He's a great driver at following closely.
And I'd also like to point out Matt Lehman sets the fastest time of the race yet again with a 1:51.285. Just now setting that, so his pace is still up there.
Will Ronia over take it back for Ghost Rider Racing?
Diego giving some tactical flashing to Patrick Rust here.
Patrick Rust is making that brick of a GTR sing in the wet conditions here, finding themselves in P13, excuse me, at the moment. They haven't pitted yet, so there is a big asterisk after P13, but I'm guessing that Patrick is going to race as late as possible just so he can see that GTR as high on the leaderboard as possible. Would you guys say that the race conditions are improving, or are they about the same?
It's about the same to me.
Looks about the same, but there is a nice healthy line that has developed over the course of the race, so these drivers are probably hunting around for the best grip.
Can they see it?
I don't know. It's awful shiny out there.
The grease is real.
Diego now getting within a tenth of Patrick Rust here. He's begging to get by.
Don't
Stallworth having a little off.
exit. John Sparks getting the better of him. And that
Stallworth's
advantage is
Ferrari
gonna last
probably-
all the way down this straight.
Yeah, Star Wars Ferrari is probably feeling like hot garbage right now
Very
after
true.
all the incidents he's been in. As he nearly goes off track on his own
Look at
fruition.
that. I think
His
the
own
moment he tapped
volition
the
just
brakes-
takes him right off.
Oh, but look at that overspeed.
Stallworth added punishment to his own race, punts Jay Sparks by carrying too much momentum into the corner. You hate to see it. Stallworth just desperately trying to recover a little bit. Sparks having a little bit of a slide, and then Stallworth just puts it into the back of him. That is tough to watch. Tough. But
Diego finally getting by Patrick Rust, and I just saw here in the picture-in-picture, Michael Menning and Jeremy Mercer have a little scrap there. Has fallen back, now 4/10 between the two, and 4/10 to Peter O'Brien behind. So right back in their little three ducks in a row, but good little scrap there.
Jeffrey Bray and
James
James
Riley
Riley
getting
going at it. And looks like
Bray able to get the move
Bray
out.
wins. Riley on the outside, way too much on the curb, no grip out there.
Once again, Menning getting real close to Mercer here. Now a 10th between the two. Mercer defending heavy inside. All this defending is just going to allow O'Brien to get closer and closer. Menning catches a bad line off the curb, catching some wheel slip. Now allowing O'Brien from behind. Now 1/10 between the two.
Michael's putting some crazy defensive lines together, so Peter's going to have a hard time getting past that big chonky Mercedes.
And once again, this battling has allowed the Honda of Dan Cran to catch back up. Now only 5/10 behind this group here.
These two Porsche teammates are still right there in the mix together. I'm surprised neither of them have elected to pit yet. All of the drivers between P1 and P12 have yet to pit. I'm surprised to see that the rest of the grid, though, for the most part, as Peter O'Brien has a big snap and he's able to save it. Most of the grid elects to pit despite begging for longer pit windows. So maybe that extra variety has just allowed them some comfort of taking different strategies, but they still elected to pit somewhere near the middle of the race.
Well, I think Michael Jeffries and Patrick Rust are staying out so they can get highlighted on the biggest winners and losers here. Michael Jeffries up 26 positions so far, and Patrick Rust up 25 positions. Obviously, they have not pit yet, but still pretty crazy.
Doesn't hurt the old ego check, does it?
Matt
Nope.
Lehman sets a new best lap, 150.9. Not bad.
I can hear it now. I can hear that's a quick lap, but I can hear it now. Coach Jeffries is going to take a snippet of Paulie calling out how many positions he's gained out of context, and then just use it as clout from here on out.
Yeah, that was basically it was bait for him to do that. I was just allowing him to. Michael Jeffries, best driver in SRA.
Confirmed.
You can clip that too.
Oh, don't feed it anymore. His head's already big enough. He started his own fantasy league within SRA, his own coaching academy. He doesn't need any more. He's good.
Top driver of 2023, Michael Jeffries.
Oh my goodness. This man's going to make himself an admin by the end of the night. I don't know how, but he's going to figure it out.
And now watch out for Michael Jeffries charging through the field. Just a couple more.
Speaking of charging through the field, Vicini is now right on the back of his teammate Riley. And it looks like Riley's struggling since the pit, and Vicini looks to be having the pace. So will we see team orders and allow the car by? They are best friends in real life. Will they have a mutual decision, or will they just race for position? We'll see.
Vicini is only 2/10 faster right now.
It may seem that way, but on track it looks like Vicini's applying the pressure, especially by driving defensively and still being on the back of Riley.
True.
Chris Steffia catching a little bit of grass here. I don't think he's going to lose any positions for it.
Who was that in the wall?
Chris Brown.
Oh no. What happened to our boy? Power on the curb. Oh,
Yep.
just Honda things. Loses traction, and the loss of traction and momentum carries him into the barrier. Barry R. meeting quite a few people. Basically having like an entire conference, trade show, networking opportunity here for Barry R tonight. Meeting all of our drivers.
Well, back to the fastest lap race that's going on in the top three. Matt Lehman also sets another fastest lap with a 150.8. Wow, so Ryan Yee sets a 151.0 and then catches the fastest lap with a 150.8, and then Matt Lehman right behind takes it again with a 158.40. So these drivers are trading positions for that fastest lap honor. Matt Lehman has now clawed that time down to only 0.8 seconds. So he's definitely on a charge, and he wants that position.
Michael Menning into the pits.
Can't blame him for balking. That was he was stuck between those Porsches for quite a while. So
Purple Cobra asking if the fastest laps are because fuel is lightening the car load and allowing the cars to go faster, or if the conditions on track are improving. Honestly, Cobra, I think it's a combination of both.
Yep.
You can see a dry line has formed for the most part on track. That does not mean that these wet conditions are easier by any stretch, because you can see these drivers are still very tentative to apply the power on the exits of corners, and very tentative under braking. But like Jason Allen said in chat, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? So cultured here in SRA. We do represent all of North America, and the many cultures and dialects of language in between.
well, it's really quite surprising to see the spread of drivers around North America, South America, Central America, and we even have a couple drivers in Europe and beyond. So if
Australia even.
If you want to check out where some of your fellow racers are, maybe some people are closer than you might think, head to the SRA Worldwide channel in the Discord.
Some drivers have found that they live only a couple blocks away from
Yeah.
fellow SRA members out of sheer coincidence. It's pretty funny.
I know that I've connected with a couple of people because of that, so it's a pretty cool little map that we got there.
I have not put in my details just because I'm paranoid and like to be private, but there's somebody does live in my city.
I'm gonna show up at your house, Jess.
I just, yeah, that was nice. I just put a little pin in the center of Orlando, basically, so that people don't know exactly where I'm at.
I just put a pin in the center of my town, so.
Yeah, my luck, I pinned like a trash can or something like that, so people would think that I'm homeless. But
BMW goes clattering over the curb, nearly loses it, goes really slow on the exit of the apex.
Was that Nick San? I think it was, and then
Nick
Evan
San.
Kim is now stuck behind him, and the other two drivers get through easy peasy. But great save from Mr. San there, my former arch nemesis.
Oh, and there's
But,
more. Smith getting around Specht. Specht on the outside, gonna hold up Nick a bit.
Smith is making absolute surge, showing why they were in the top 10 of qualifying. Were they in the top 10? I think it might have been P12 or P13, but they were up there. They were up there.
Oh, and they're side by side in the braking zone here. Oh, and the BMW goes ahead just in time, but he's got way too much speed. He goes deep. And he's on
they
the
come
apex
together.
right as the Aston tries to close the door.
Oh my
He
goodness,
loses it,
absolute
becomes a-
anarchy.
Oh my god, hold the brakes.
Oh, Nate
people.
Specht, big
Oh my
hit there.
gosh.
Sykes and Schwartz.
Was that Ronia
man.
over that hit the parked car also?
Man, I don't know. Big damage on all over Nate Specht's car, on the sides, on the back, on the front.
Oh no,
Not
Matt
a good
Schwartz,
day for him.
Yeah, Matt Schwartz collects it, and then who is that? Ghost Rider Racing, Aston Martin. It might be Ronia over. That was a big, big mess there.
The stewards will be busy.
Our humble stewards wins for the quality of the driver's experience, but at the end of the day, they do so to improve the integrity of the racing here at SRA. So they do so with pleasure.
Gomer Wilson
But-
showing the good kind of racing we have around here. Hanging around the outside of Vicini made it look easy.
Now, Gomer was the Porsche in previous shots that was haunting Vicini while he was defending for his teammate, but he has struck and has landed the position. Now it's up to Vicini to try and continue to fight back.
Looking at Nate Specht's car here, the wheel does seem to be straight, but definitely having some handling issues here. We'll see how he deals with that over the course of the race. Vicini catching the yellow flag and spinning around into the grass. Not
We've
much
seen this before.
fighting back there.
Yes, and he's an absolute gentleman, and he backs up and joins the track parallel to the racing line. I love you for that, brother. But yeah, tough spin there. Typical Ferrari Spinala action. Yeah, Jason Allen in chat saying this chicane is atrocious. It is claiming many victims this evening.
We've already had, what, like 6 so far? Just
Easily.
there, right?
Easily, yeah. You come over the chicane, the curbs are just absolutely jarring. And then if you are still applying power when you land, you can just send the car into a spin right away, as we see Bray having a moment. Yellow flag, seeming to be a isolated incident. Yep, big slide. Big slide.
Man, you can just see between how wet it is and
Another code brown.
and the change of banking on the track. It's really hard to just get yourself going again, get all 4 tires square contact on the ground and going, you know? It's like he's carrying momentum and one tire grabs a little bit and starts spinning him again and putting torque on the car. It's just gone. Can't do anything once you start sliding.
I think the curbs themselves are slippery here in the wet. Those sausage curbs at the chicane, they tend to push you off a little bit, so
And this
upsetting
one
your
right
car
here,
even more.
the one they're riding on right now, you put your tires on there in the Porsche and like send it full beans, and it will literally, like, you put your wheels going left and the car will start drifting right.
Yeah, it's tough. When we were making the schedule for this season and made this one wet, we knew it was going to be a tall order for our drivers, but they have always been up to the task and demanding more challenging wet races. So SRA giveth and it taketh away.
And in the battle for the fastest lap of the race, we have an unlikely contender now stopped on the track, Diego Fimbres-Casas, catching a yellow flag, and he had just set a 150.545, so fastest lap of the race. And also, Ryan Yee now heading into the pits as Matt Lehman takes first position. Wow, what a crazy turn of events there.
That is exciting. I previously mentioned that Ronya Over might have been caught up in that damage, but that was not the case. Still in P2, their teammate for Ghost Rider Racing AMR, I want to say G. Sykes, was caught up in that incident, so that's tough. But a shout out to SG Smalls for subscribing with Prime. Love to see that. Thank you for the support. If you guys and gals watching did not know, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription. Throw it our way if you want to show us some love. It is free.
Well, I just watched a little off-track incident there from Q Smith. Was having some heavy pressure from Nick Sant. I don't think there was any contact, but he just wound up sliding off-track into the gravel pits, losing the position over it.
Quinn Smith has found himself right in the heart of what seems like every single battle on track this evening, and winning many a time, and coming together a couple different times too. So it's been a race of action for them. They're probably heart pumping, adrenaline flowing, white knuckle driving for the rest of the 17 and a half minutes here tonight.
Danny Durant's coming into the pits right now.
So Diego comes out of the pits behind Patrick Rust, who is not pit yet, but more importantly, in front of Michael Menning.
Interesting to note.
Yeah, it's Chilsey in the chat saying Lehman going for the overcut 2 weeks in a row.
I think that's the play. For like I previously mentioned, I think the best play for a wet race is to keep the temperature in the tires as long as possible. So
I think
pitting.
we got another one. Another Ferrari.
Please no.
Same corner.
Well, keep keep the temps in the tires. Oh, just no brakes. No spin though. Yay! I want to see a bunch of hearts in the chat for the two Ferrari drivers of Grid Thieves Red team there. They are having a rough night. Show them some love.
Well, Diego now stuck once again behind Patrick Rust after his little stop on track there. Not where he wants to be, 3/10 behind him. And Patrick does not really like to give up that position easy, even though he hasn't pit yet. His right to do so.
Hold on. I should know
this. You should.
Is there a rhetorical question in there?
I'm looking for something.
Just like last week when I was trying to figure out what the term was for when a tire follows a surface in line with it, and the answer, was tram lining.
Tram lining?
Yes, tram lining. And no one in chat helped me out, but I think it was Spangler after the race shot me a reply. He said, I think it's tram lining, and he's 100% right. I was ready to pull my hair out. But speaking of pull my hair out, I'm sure Patrick Rust is feeling like he needs to pull his own hair out after driving this absolute dumpster fire of a GTR around this track in the wet while being harassed by Fimbres-Casas.
Now he's coming up on the back of Michael Jeffries here. We'll see how they navigate this.
Chris Brown's going side by side with Matt Schwartz. He's got the inside. Matt Schwartz leaves the room. Chris doesn't take all on the exit, but that doesn't matter because he still got the inside. Shorter line, tucks ahead.
That's solid. But Matt Schwartz is nursing some damage from that big crash we saw from Quinn Smith's coming together with one of the Porsches earlier. So, yeah, big, tough stuff for Matt. But he's managing his race well despite having damage and having a Porsche in the wet around a very tough Imola. So nice job there. Want to give some love to D Trickle redeeming the "Hi, I am new" with his driver points. So,
Welcome.
yeah, love to see that. If you are new to SRA and you see that our channel points are called slices of bread and you have no idea what in the world that means, it's just one of the many memes within Sim Racing Alliance. You gotta be a part of the Discord, and the absolute quirky behavior coming out of Division 5 with their obsession with bread. So I'm sure if you're around the Discord enough, you'll see all the different memes, and you can join and be a part of the friendly banter that we all experience week in and week out.
Is mayonnaise a meme?
I love my SpongeBob references, I can promise you that.
And Patrick Rust catching a little bit of curb, getting a little squirrely, allowing Diego to get by. And now Diego is flashing for Michael Jeffries to let him by.
I'm sure Patrick Rust purposefully had a little moment to let Diego by so that he can drive in peace and quiet for the rest of this race. Coach Jeffries is going to put up a fight, but Diego is going to bring the fight like a title heavyweight fighter. So as he goes around super send, Coach Jeffries is going to slot back in. Right now, holding the position is Fimbres Casas. On the main screen, Spangler trying to switch back on the Ferrari in front of Vicini. Not able to get it done. Vicini parking it, and oh, that's about as close as it gets. Not even the caution stickers on the back of that Ferrari are deterring Spangler from doing an absolute move. And Vicini tries to do a little bit of a switchback, but not able to manage. Has to slot back in and deal with this horrible, horrible mist coming in. And Spangler having a deep braking zone there through the chicane, and that brings Vicini right back into the fight. But now we're going over the dreaded curb. What will both these cars do? Vicini's car hops, and he has to catch a slide, and that builds that gap. So Ferrari things once more. APKP in chat saying Koodromo hunting Menning. Let's give Koodromo some love.
Oh,
as we see Quinn Smith
what
off.
Quinn did, looks self-inflicted to me.
Too much curb.
Big sausage.
Yeah, the sausage curb. Too much. I think KP is Koodromo's father. I'm not 100% certain. My memory is serving me properly. That is the case.
You're right.
He said yep in chat. Quick in the chat. All right.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
That's Daddy Dromo right there in the chat. We love to see that. Thanks for showing up to the stream and showing some love for a league favorite. And let's give Koodromo some love.
Expect catching a little bit of yellow flag there, now dropping in positions as Jeff Spangler gets by him, and Vicini is not too far behind. Nate caught a little bit of grass there, and yeah, definitely due to some of this damage that he sustained a little earlier on during the race, a very hard hit that we saw here on stream, but he's still making the best of it.
Oh, and they touched John Sparks.
Oh my goodness.
Off Adam Santana as they go side by side in an interest in Sector 1. These Ferraris are having the worst race of their lives.
They're at Imola. Okay, they're trying to emulate just Ferrari Formula 1, just absolute mockery at this point. That's what it is. I'm sold. I'm sold on it. It's the 2K22 Ferrari strategy on stream right now. It is rough, and sad to see that Santana gets basically hip checked off track and brings him right into the mix of his teammate, which has probably been the worst thing for these two guys all night.
Oh, and they're both super wide. Oh, wow.
Oh, they almost have it coming together for a third time.
Here comes Diego coming to lap him.
Yikes.
Oh,
Is that Diego? Yeah, it is. It is. And then Santana just plows deep, says, "Get me the hell out of here, Diego. Go on through."
I would have done the exact
And
same
you see
thing.
Patrick Rust going deep too as he was under pressure. Who was Patrick Rust being attacked by? That was Travis Nordstrom.
Travis Nordstrom. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. That was a fight technically for position because Patrick hasn't pitted yet. So
True.
Nordstrom able to get the move done, and Patrick Rust just
It's nice of Rust
totally missing the braking zone. Lemonhead 401 in the for the first time chat asking, where is Neville? I don't think Neville showed up for tonight's race. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys.
Neville who?
I don't see him in here.
Yep, that's what I thought. Neville did not show up to the race tonight, Lemonhead. Slide into his DMs and demand that he shows up for next week at round 5.
Patrick Rust sliding into the pits here.
We sliding.
Dom Duran giving himself a giant pat on the back, saying, like I said, don't sleep on the Astons as they find themselves in P1 and P2, while the rest of the grid, especially the Hondas, are struggling. But Duran, you can chill for a little bit because they have yet to pit, so it's going to be a toss-up where they come out in respect to Ryan Yee and the likes of Fimbres Casas.
He's only 46 seconds behind the leader, and the pit's only like 45 seconds, so they haven't won yet.
It's going to be close. Dom Duran saying, let me enjoy this moment. I'll let you have it, bud. You've earned it.
Well, Matt Lehman, speaking of P1, has just last lap set his fastest lap of the race of all the drivers with a 150.350. So still up there in the pace, still putting down crazy fast laps with only 7.5 minutes left to go.
You see that move. Bray follows Patrick Rust around, and Gomer Wilson loses the position by being out of place. Bray with the awesome, brave move by following the GTR around.
He's pretty sick.
And Dan Cran now also heading to the pits here.
C. Brown Races saying that our races are actually during his morning time, but it looks like your drivers are several levels above my abilities. Well, C. Brown, this is Division 1. This is the top tier of Sim Racing Alliance driving. So if you're looking for more racing, and if you fear that this may be a little bit too much for you, we have 6 divisions total, 300 registered drivers. And the difference in skill and pace drops down each tier you go down, and there is a sufficient place for anyone who wants to be an active member within SRA. And we also offer personal coaching. We have some support from Go setups for discounts for, actually not discounts, but affiliate links for great setups from Go. And yeah, you can find yourself quite a bit of pace by joining Sim Racing Alliance and getting some extra support. As we see an Aston Martin go into the pits there.
Yep, that is Matt Lehman heading in for his pit stop here. Only a couple.
I'm sure James Riley really appreciates that because he was in a very awkward position where he's blue flagged, but also he had a run on the guy in front of him who was fighting for position, Matthew Schwartz. So yeah, that just gave him the green light.
Has Rania over pitted yet? He is not. So yeah, Rania over has got to get into the pits really soon here as the pit window is coming to a close. Lehman, Mercer, and O'Brien all in the pits at the moment.
Good stuff. Sparrow6 in chat asking, for the first time chatter, welcome to Sim Racing Alliance. Where do you sign up? You can just go to sra.gg, and that is our website. And one of our admin, Al Latufo, has made a absolutely gorgeous website platform. And just go to the Getting Started tab, and you can follow those instructions. A little bit of homework to do to join SRA, but trust me, it is worth it. If you have any questions, we are here. Yep, just do it once. And then we have a... Yep.
Oh, and Patrick Rust finding a couple too many tires on the outside curb. Oh, and he's going to meet at the apex. Oh, and he wisely lifts, slows down a bit.
Patrick Rust would never...
jump scare there.
Yeah, he would never do an unsafe rejoin. Patrick Rust is one of the GOATs.
Okay, well, some fun stuff here for those keeping track of the score here. Matt Lehman comes out 4.6 seconds ahead of Ryan Yee. So he is the race leader at the moment as far as those who have pit. Ronnie Over is yet to pit, so we'll see where he comes out once he gets done with that.
I was responding in chat, so not to have any silence after the fact that Matt Lehman is able to capitalize on taking what is technically race lead right now. Ronya Overs in the pits. That is important to note. Paulie, keep the picture-in-picture on Ronya Over. I want to see where he comes out in retrospect to the grid. This could be a huge detriment to the drivers behind, holding them up and leaving a absolutely killer gap for Matt Lehman. So we will see. Matt Lehman is coming around the kink in the front straight, passing Ronya Over right now in the pits. Ryan Yee also doing the same thing, but Ronya Over is leaving the pits now. Able to get the pass done, but it is close. Jess is now showing where Fimbres Casas comes out, and Ronya Over holds P3.
Very impressive. Yeah, very impressive.
D-Trickle cheering on Dromo. First time chatter tonight, showing the love for a fan favorite Dromo. You'll love to see it.
Can't blame him either.
I mean, Dromo deserves the love.
Dromo is currently sitting in P10 at the moment, 1.3 seconds off at the back of Dan Cran, and he's just been doing really well tonight. Yeah, he's a P8 overall for his class.
Looks like Santana's yellow flag been stopped again.
Yep, there's another red Ferrari off track. Seems to be a common theme here tonight. Well, hopefully they can collect themselves before next race and come back swinging, because definitely not a fun ride for them tonight. Props to them, though, for staying in it. Big props.
The Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari is taking the Ferraris to the grave. I can feel the original CEO of Ferrari rolling around in his grave right now from these red Ferraris on track. Sad, sad time. But that being said, honestly, mad props to our drivers that have struggled in these tough conditions and managed to stick with it. There's nothing I don't like seeing more than a driver having a tough result and just having to just quit. These people are battling and fighting through the tough conditions.
It's definitely getting worse. Look at this.
It is getting worse. It's definitely getting worse. How many drivers do we have in our race tonight?
34.
As of right now, 34, yes.
Every driver gets a point tonight.
Yep.
You score a point in SRA for every position up until P40. As Michael Menning has a little bit of a poor exit, and that allows for Nordstrom to sneak up in front. But that Porsche is going to struggle on the straight.
Well, yeah, strike right back. The slipstream and more power.
It's the little Porsche that could.
Look at how demoralizing is that?
Yep.
Gets the move done on the exit where the Porsche is strong, and then the Mercedes just absolutely brawls its way past on the straight. Now Nordstrom's got some more work to do. Okay, now the pit window has closed. We're on the final lap once Lehman crosses the start-finish line. Paulie, biggest winners and losers as we see Michael Menning battle.
Well, Michael Menning is one of those biggest winners. Michael Menning is up 9 positions overall. Coadromo, fan favorite, is up 8 positions this race. Marlowe up 14. Evan Kim up an astonishing 16 positions. James Riley up 13. Matt Schwartz up 10. Michael Jeffries up 16 positions. Wow. Victor Diaz up 10 positions. And Vicini up 8 positions. Some of our biggest losers here tonight, unfortunately, is Q Smith. In the midst of all those battles, he has lost 7 positions from a start.
Yikes. And right now, Lehman is crossing the start-finish line on the final lap. The lap is
done. He takes P1, and Ryan Yee close behind takes P2. Ronya over from a recent D2 promotion to a podium in D1 in these tough racing conditions. P3, Fimbres Casas P4, Jeremy Mercer, and closely behind Peter O'Brien for 5th and 6th respectively. And previously mentioned Michael Menning is holding down P7 at the moment, but is holding off Nordstrom. That's going to be a close one, but just not close enough. And behind Nordstrom, just by a couple tenths, is Dan Cran and Ko Dromo for rounding out the top 10. Awesome job to all of our drivers. Still people battling in the final lap here for these extra points.
Wilson and Jeffries are a tenth off of each other. Still a couple more seconds left of their lap to go. Rounding the final couple corners here, will Wilson be able to catch him on the exit? Big lumbering Lamborghini, will he be able to whip it around? Still, man, a tenth between the two, and it's just not going to be enough here. Wilson bobbing left and right, not going to be able to take that position. Still a solid finish for those two, 21 and 22 respectively.
Nice. And Jess caught the battle between, what was that, Schwartz, Dykes, and Bray, for basically split by a second. All three of them, just one right after another.
Fighting all the way to the line.
Yeah, that was an absolute drag race at the end there. But great job to all of our drivers this evening in these tough conditions. All of them deserve a participation trophy tonight. And a big old kiss on the cheek for a great performance, as you see Chris Stefiak absolutely destroying his Porsche into the barrier after a tough race. So
if your name is Matt Lehman, Ryan Yee, Rania Over, Dan Cran, or Nick San, we can include Fimbres Casas in here. If you guys would like to head over to the main channels so we can pull you in for an interview so we can wrap up this race. Fantastic racing out there, guys. We saw some great battles, some unfortunate crashes, and some tomfoolery that was happening. But it was another fantastic race, an actual wet race here at SRA, which is maybe a little bit rare. I think as far as the statistics go, we may almost be more likely to get a dry race. True. Fantastic race.
Awesome stuff. Before we do our interviews tonight, I'm going to go ahead and just hop on my put my admin hat on and get on my soapbox. Just want to thank everyone for putting forth a good effort this week and for all the love for the chat that we had. We were steadily at 50 people or so. And honestly, big love to everyone here in the community. I'm going to step away for the evening and leave it to Paulie and Jess, but thank you so much for your love and support. If you want to participate more in SRA, check out sra.gg, and Paulie and Jess will thank our individual sponsors and affiliates at the end of our stream. So thank you, everyone, and we'll catch you again next week.
Thanks for joining us, Doug.
All right, so let's round up those champions.
Yep. So I only see our silver champions have trickled in so far. It seems that some people are a little bit spread out here.
Well, I'm desperate, and I'll take what I can get. So
Matt Lehman, I see our race winner. I'm going to attempt to move him up here. Move to cool down room. Here we go. Sorry, Matt. Your conversation is done. Matt, welcome to the booth here. A fantastic race. You went for the overcut again, and you won. So that's 2 races in a row that you've won. Absolutely fantastic driving. I can't say, I can say I'm absolutely freaking stoked that we finally get a little bit of credibility to all those that have been trashing the Champion Motorsports name. But how are you feeling out there? And were you nervous watching the clock and keeping up your lap times or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, it definitely feels good to get 2 in a row. I thought I threw it away at the start there because, first of all, real shitty for Nick Alvarado, disconnected on the formation lap from pole. So, yeah, real tough for him. But it meant I started at the front, and going into turn one, immediately sent it off into the gravel trap. So lost a couple of positions there. Had to claw my way back, but I surprised at the pace. Like I don't know if maybe like Yi like screwed up his tire pressures or something, but I definitely had the pace on him for some reason. So yeah, and then took advantage of a couple of mistakes from people ahead and was able to keep it clean.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we were biting our nails watching the different splits there, and you were trading blows with him and Diego Firmas Casas with for the fastest lap of the race. I thought that was pretty interesting, and he finally took it from you in the very end by 2/10 somehow.
Oh man.
Yeah. Diego, he was a kind of stop and go today. He was sometimes extraordinarily fast, but sometimes got caught up in some interesting incidents or got stuck behind some people. So that kind of kept him off of you guys. But he had some screaming pace today as well. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it was fun. Like I had to race Diego for a couple laps there for P2 early on, so yeah, it was good. It's good fun, and you know, it was clean.
well, Matt, congratulations again on the second win here this season.
Yeah, great job.
It's been absolutely fantastic seeing you back up at the top again. And I know you must be feeling super stoked about it too. So we'll leave you to go celebrate. Don't drink too much sweat out of the shoe. And hopefully we'll be seeing you next race.
All right, thanks. Take care, guys. See y'all next week.
Take it easy.
You hear that confidence? See you all next week.
That's right.
So
That's right.
who else are we looking for? We're looking for our P2, which is where is he? I don't see him in here. Oh, Ryan Yee. There we go. Move to cool down. Ryan Yee, back up here again in the booth. A common face to see. P2 for you again. So Matt Lehman made the overcut again, or rather the overcut on you again here. Came out with the win. We were all biting our nails up here in the booth, looking at the times and seeing him gain, lose on you. I mean, how were you feeling watching the clocks there?
To be honest, I was kind of just checked out at the end there because after, I don't know if it was caught, I did make a mistake when I was overtaking somebody into T1, which he got around me there first anyway. And then I just pitted the next lap so I wouldn't have to overtake the guy again. But he was faster than me all race, so I wasn't really too, like concerned with my pace really because I was very securely in second, I'd say. So I didn't really think too much of it.
Well, we saw a lot of Hondas that were having some difficulty handling tonight. Some spins. How was the handling of your car out there today?
I think the problem was that was a lot more rain than most of us were expecting.
True.
Yeah, my tires were down half a PSI or more since the start, so that was not great. But
I have a question for you because y'all got a more consistent view, of course, of the weather. Did it get worse towards the end? Because it looked like it.
It did not get worse. It was like lessening the entire time, but not by very much at all.
Okay.
But it could just be a matter of tire wear as well.
Well, yeah. I know that both of you guys were consistently putting in some very fast times. Throughout the race, just one-upping each other back and forth on the fastest lap of the race. So you guys were definitely improving. I guess as tire pressures warmed up and as the dry line kind of grooved in there. Yeah, and we definitely saw from the booth that it was quite wet out there. Pretty much as wet as it's going to get in a race like this. But you did some great driving out there and showed a lot of skill keeping it under control in the wet and keeping the reins on that Honda there. So congratulations on the P2, and we hope to see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, that was Ryan Yee, and now we're looking for. Let's pull in our P3 for gold. which will be Diego. Diego, bring you up here to the booth. Welcome. That is a P3 for the gold split, but a P4 overall. We saw that you were in quite a few little mix-ups there, and you actually snagged fastest lap of the race right at the end there. So I didn't catch the full incident. I saw you stopped on track, and just at the end of the first sector. What was happening there? What's going on through your head?
Well, I kinda screwed up. I kinda fat fingered the ignition button.
Oh no.
Man.
Yeah. I was
Oh
going
no.
I was going for my brake bias because the car was starting to slide under braking. It was starting to oversteer. And since my keyboard, it has RGB, but after a certain amount of time it goes dark, it turns off. So it's kind of like hard to judge where the keys are. So it's weird because I normally don't mess up the brake bias. My muscle memory is pretty good, but apparently it wasn't good enough tonight. So I pressed the ignition and I'm like, wait a minute, why is my car? Why don't I have any power? And then I saw that my car was off, and I was like, oh no! So that's why I had to stop and turn the car again, and I was on my merry way again. I lost, I think, like 9 seconds because
Yep.
of that.
And that was
Easily.
enough for the P3 that
Yeah.
that you lost. So lessons learned, I suppose. Maybe time for a new keyboard.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do some changes. I think
A
when
wheel with more
I'm in
buttons.
ACC, yeah, I'm either gonna change the the ignition key or just like let the keyboard be on, like the lights to be on, because
That would be
I'd rather
wise.
I'd rather not lose 9 seconds again in a podium because of that. Which is a shame because it was weird because the conditions were super tough, to be honest. It was because the track really didn't get that much faster. I was expecting it to get really fast, but it didn't. And then because of that, I think I went down like a whole PSI on my pressures because I was expecting like a decent dry line to form. I was under pressure the whole race. The whole race. That I think that's why I was struggling at the start. I had no turning, no grip. Matt was killing me at the start, and he got past me, I think, like 3 laps in or something. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna pit and just like being cleaner because I'd rather not risk killing Matt or Matt killing me or someone else killing me. So I just chill.
Oh, I would have held
Well-
people up. I would have made my problem their problem. Screw it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how well that clean air worked for you. I saw you stuck behind Patrick Russ for a while there, giving him some tactical flashes. And how was that being stuck behind him?
You know what? Actually, it was weird because like the BMW had absolutely no straight line speed on the main street, like none. I think the Porsche, I mean, surprise, surprise, was slower than me. But besides that, like every single car was faster than me on the streets. So, for example, if I caught up through the corners, I couldn't really get past because I mean it's Imola. It's hard to overtake. So I had to get creative with it because like obviously I wasn't going to get past on the main straight or any straight.
Right.
Um, but I mean, he was like he didn't have to let me through at the end of the day because that's the rule. Uh, because of the like our new pit window. Um, but I mean, it was clean. I mean, there's no complaints. I mean, it's not like he was blocking me or anything. It was just like a race situation, and that's that. It didn't help. I had to get past him twice, right?
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
it
work
was
for
good.
it.
Yeah. I had to work for it. The jitter is no joke, to be honest. In the rain, it's pretty good because of its good mechanical grip.
That checks out.
But yeah, it was a tough race. It was really, I mean, at least it wasn't the classic SRA wet race.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were talking about that at the beginning, but yeah, lucky that we got a actual wet race and got what people kind of prepared for. I mean, it was a little bit more wet than some people expected, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Diego, congratulations on the P4 and the P3 for your split, and hard luck on the ignition button. Hopefully, you can get that fixed next week so we can see you back up here in the booth again.
Yeah, you know what? It's not gonna happen again because that was pretty bad.
All right.
Oh man.
We'll be seeing you then. Have a good night, brother.
Alrighty, take care.
Take it easy.
Bye bye.
All right. Now we're going to move on to our silver drivers here. So, who do we have? Ronnie Over, our P3 overall. Let's bring him up here. Rania Over. We were very interested in seeing you race here tonight. P3 overall and a P1 for your split. Congratulations. You were a D2 transplant into D1, and you really made a name for yourself here tonight. How are you feeling out there?
Scared.
I can imagine so. Yeah. So we heard from other drivers that it was a lot more wet than you might have expected. How was the car feeling for you out there, and what was your overall thoughts on the race?
Everything was pretty good. Obviously, I get third. It's no small feat. I think the unknown weather conditions really helped me. It seems like a lot of the weeks, the guys that just can cut a lot of laps seem to have an advantage. So just the unknown helped me out for sure. But yeah, it was scary at times. Definitely had to catch a couple big slides. And it was a lot of fun though. So had that going for me.
I love that about wet races.
So this, I believe, is your first podium in SRA and your first P1 for your split. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out that may be watching the stream at home or watching the VOD, or anyone that might have helped you get where you are today?
Yeah, just the guys at Ghost Rider Racing. They've helped me get up to speed. I'm pretty new to ACC yet, so their help has been very instrumental in getting me up to speed and doing well right away.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us up here, and we hope to see you again. And I suspect we will with some of the pace that you showed us tonight.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
You too.
Take it easy.
All right. So who else are we going to bring up here? That was Ronnie Over. Who was our P2 for silver? I don't see him in here. Oh, Dan Cran. I feel bad for bringing him up, though, because he is running the live session. So I'm going to message him. And Nick San was our P3. So, yo.
That'd be so funny if we yoinked him right as he was describing something.
Yeah, guys, you got to look at this incident. But well, we will bring up Nick San then. So, Nick San, welcome to the commentators booth.
I would just want to say, sorry, we missed it. Cast Haste rated us with a party of 12. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hey, thank you, Cast Haste.
You made the tail end of the stream. We're interviewing our podium finishers right now.
Yep. Yeah. Missed a very exciting race, and we're out here interviewing our best drivers out there. And speaking of one of the best drivers, Nick San is with us here now. Nick, that was a P3 for your class. How are you feeling out there?
Oh, I didn't even realize it was P3. I was pretty sad, finishing behind Evan. Had a few minor incidents. I didn't realize all the drivers ahead were gold drivers. I mean, this is a surprise to me, so it feels good, I guess.
Yeah. We saw that you were involved in a couple incidents there, and wasn't exactly the best race, but even still, you were ahead of all the other people in your class, and that's nothing to scoff at. So, wait, can you tell us about some of the incidents that you might have been involved in?
So the first one that comes to mind was me coming on lap 13 or 14. Cole is coming out of the pits. We battle for a lap or so. I make a mistake. He goes ahead, but on turn 1, the following lap, I don't know if we hydroplane or I clipped the curb. I'm not sure what happened, but that was the first major mistake that dropped me back a few places, I believe. That was kind of sad, but I was looking to battle in Koa, even though we're not in the same class. It's arch nemesis. Shout out.
Yeah, he got moved up his classification. I know he was begging for it in one of the interviews that we had, and there were some other people that were begging for it in the SRA chat. So, congratulations to him for getting moved up. But you might be next on the chopping block with some of the races, some of the racing that we've seen from you this season. You've done really good so far, and you always seem to be in the thick of a lot of battles and making a lot of good decisions. So, really tough weather conditions out there. Like, how were you feeling about the weather? I know some other drivers were saying that it was exceptionally wet.
Yeah, I don't know how everyone felt when the race started, but once the race server switched over, I was not ready for this level of wet because I don't. All the practice we've done was kind of lightish to medium rain. I would consider this like actually wet for once, so that was kind of scary. Lots of low visibility for lap one.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
glad
on the
everyone
heavy
ahead of
end,
me.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the D1 D2 practice race last night had to be bone dry, so that definitely didn't help anything either.
Yeah, it was barely greasy.
I know it was. That's why you guys keep the memes alive. I know you're
Yep.
doing it on purpose.
Well, you're gonna have to contact Doug for that one. He's the one up there, like the puppeteer. Just giving us a dry race when we practice for a wet race. But all jokes aside, that the ACC weather mechanics do bite sometimes. So perfect example. It can go one way of being bone dry, or the other way of being completely, totally wet. So. But congratulations on your P3, and we hope to see you up here a couple more times this season.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Looking forward to racing with you all in practice races. All right. Bye.
See
Yes,
ya.
sir. Bye. All right. Dan Cran didn't message me back. I really feel bad for moving him up when he's the one running the stream down there.
Yeah, let's leave him undisturbed.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave him undisturbed. Sorry about that, Dan. If you wanted to come up for an interview, but I'm going to end the stream off here. I'd like to thank everyone for sticking around with us while we did our driver interviews. To those that did, I would like to give a shout out to our SRA sponsors. I think Doug wanted me to read them out individually, so I will. Our SRA sponsors: Adam Santana, Anthony Rohrer, Bailey Kish, Ben Roberts, Connor Farrell, Darren Robinchild, Dewal Bendari, Dominic Duran, Eduardo Rodriguez, Ian Byron, Evan Kim, Jitesh Katavar, Jack Polyak, Justin Rowley, Kevin Anderson, Koa Dromo, Mark Rechton, Matt Morrison, Michael Jeffries, Michael Megenheimer, Milo Green, Nate Bright, Nate Specht, Nick Sand, Philip Menzies, Pravin Fonseca, Ramon Lorenzo, Richard Schulz, Roby Toady, Ron Flo, Selena Boonstra, Stephanie Fisher, Stephen Smalley, Thomas Greer, Tony Spaghetti, Travis Robinson, and Zach Sky. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to our title sponsors, Alatufo, Dan Rebel, Dominic Duran, Evan Kim, Fazli Majid, Gordon Beverly, Jacob Wolfman, Josh Damiani, Ken Miller, Kyle McGinnis, Landshark, Mark Rechton, Matt Morrison, Michael Megenheimer, Milo Green, Paulie Hartman, Ramon Lorenzo, Richard Schulze, Roby Toady, Stephanie Fisher, Thomas Greer, Tony Spaghetti, and Zach Sky. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'd also like to thank Documize and Retro Saga for your support of SRA. Retro Saga is a North American gaming store where they have a lot of cool retro games, controllers, consoles, paraphernalia, all sorts of cool stuff. So if you're into that scene, be sure to check them out. They have a great website there where you can satisfy all of your retro gaming nerd needs. And I say that in a good way. I'd also like to give a shout out to Go Setups for being the official setups of SRA. Very fast indeed. I'd like to give a shout out to Track Racer Sim Rigs for making some awesome 80/20 aluminum sim rigs. I have one myself, and I can attest they are fantastic quality. I'd also like to give a shout out to Armamentario. They provide a custom HUD element to ACC. So if you think that the ACC stock HUD is a little bit lacking, be sure to head over there, customize your HUD today with Armamentario software. And I think that is it for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. Another just fantastic night of racing. An actual wet race for once.
Loved it. I can't wait for my turn tomorrow.
Oof, yeah, it's going to be rough. And speaking of, if you liked what you saw here today, be sure to check out our D2, D3, and D6, I believe, streams that are going on tomorrow. And so D2 will be broadcast here on Twitch, and D3 will be broadcast on YouTube. So if you want to check those out, be sure to head on over. And if you liked what you saw and you're interested in joining, I suggest going into your bar at the top there and type in SRA.gg. And that'll take you to our website where you can read all of our rules, leaderboards, championship information, and learn how to get signed up today. A lot of fun activities going on, whether you want to, just participate in our normal GT3 team series, or if you want to do any of our other exhibition races, multi-class mayhem, all sorts of fun stuff going on around the Discord, so be sure to check that out. And I think this is our final sign-off. I'm Paulie, and I was your PIP host today, and Jess Osborne is our main guy behind the camera. So thank you for watching, and good night.